Hey guys, so hopefully not too long ago, I reviewed the first live action Ben 10 movie, Ben 10 Race Against Time. And it was not a great movie. Not a great one. Eh. Anyway, so this week I'm gonna watch Ben 10 Alien Swarm, the second live action Ben 10 movie. And hopefully, just hopefully, it will be much, much, much better. Alright, I'm gonna watch it now. Alright, so I just watched the opening scene of Ben 10 Alien Swarm, and, eh? It's kind of sort of an improvement over the last movie already, but, eh? In terms of, like, the opening scene, I mean, like, the last movie for sure was a lot faster. I mean, like, it just starts out with some with the last movie, you just immediately starts out with Eon attacking a city. Then Ben shows up. Then Eon disappears, and then Ben runs away from the police. That's all that happened in the opening scene of the first movie. In this movie, though, it starts out with some black market salesman trying to sell some random alien tech to Kevin, and like they're just like, dude, it's alien tech. That means you must want it, right? They just don't tell him anything about it. It's just like, hey, it's alien tech, so it must be worth something. It like in the Ben 10 world, it's so easy to get alien tech. It might sound like impressive, like, oh hey, it's technology from outer space. You must want it, right? But really, though, it doesn't really look all that valuable before it actually comes to life and starts attacking them later on in the scene. And yeah, yeah, we don't really know like how this deal even happened. It's just like they went after Kevin. They asked him to buy it, and then he revealed that, oh, I have more partners that you guys didn't know about, which was Gwen and Ben. And then a new character, Elena, shows up, who we learn some more about later in the movie, and everybody's like surprised to see her, and apparently she's connected to the chips somehow. So it seems like she knows more about the chips than the people selling the chips, and it's just what? And then of course, like the bottle chips comes to life and starts attacking, and then Ben turns into Big Chill, and like honestly, the special effects here are an improvement over the last movie. Like whenever Gwen starts using her magic, because she actually uses her magic in this one. Yeah, she actually uses her magic. Wow, what a concept. Anyway, so yeah, she actually uses her magic, and it looks like an improvement over like the energy bolts that Eon was using in the last movie. It's just is a slight, tiny improvement. And then like Kevin is this kind of weird. He absorbs some metal for a few seconds, and then whenever it disappears off his body, it just looks really weird. Ah, yeah. It's not great, guys. It's not great. It still is an improvement over the last movie, though. Seriously, guys, somebody in the comments of my review for the last movie was saying, "Oh, Alien Swarm doesn't get any better." No, it is better than Race Against Time, at least for the one scene with Big Chill. It is an improvement, but it still isn't great. I don't know. And like whenever like Big Chill freezes the place, it's all kind of weird the way they like. it goes from one shot with the gas and the air, it just looks like gas instead of icy breath. I don't know. I don't know how they would have done it better other than just simply making it a cartoon. I don't know. Anyways, it's time for me to get back to watching this movie. Kevin's car does look cool though. Just like how the Rust Bucket looked cool in the last movie, Kevin's car looks cool in this one. And yeah, I'm going to get back to watching the movie now. Hey, so I have another scene to comment on real quick before I finish watching the movie. So there is one scene where Ben, left the plumber base. I'll explain it later. He then went after Elena, and he stole Max's motorcycle that we've never heard of before to go track her down. And if this was the cartoon, instead of, a live action movie with a small budget, in the cartoon he would have just turned into Jet Ray and flew after her. But since this is not the cartoon, he has to steal a motorcycle. Okay, I'm going to go back to watching the movie now. Alright, I just finished watching Ben 10 Alien Swarm. Ben 10 Alien Swarmy. And if there is any word I can use to describe this movie, it would be pretty dull. Anyway, this movie is just I do actually want to watch it again, unlike Ben 10 Race Against Time. I do want to eventually check out this movie again at some point and actually take notes, because there is some interesting stuff that happens in this movie that would be fun to analyze for, my YouTube videos. If I ever start making Ben 10 guide episodes again. Anyway, yeah, this movie is just alright. Yeah. So, I don't think I clarified this in my review of Ben 10 Race Against Time, but that movie is in an alternate timeline. It's not part of the main Ben 10 timeline, but Eon, of course, is a time traveler, and he does visit the main timeline. So, Ben 10 Race Against Time is only kind of sort of canon, but not really. This movie, though, is supposed to be canon. It actually is supposed to take place in the main timeline and all that stuff. It actually did affect the series after the movie came out, but it does have some timeline problems and stuff. Most people at this point seem to agree that, it has to take place in between seasons 2 or 3 of Ben 10 Alien Force, but there's some timeline problems in here. But what this movie does have that the normal series does not is that there is actually a date in the movie. There's one point in the movie where they're watching a video and it's dated from 2006, and that video, according to the characters, is 3 years ago. This movie came out in 2009, so obviously 3 years before that was 2006, and that video is dated 2006. And yeah, since this movie takes place during Ben 10 Alien Force, 5 years after the original series, then that would mean, according to this movie, the original Ben 10 takes place in the summer of 2004. There, we finally got some real evidence for Ben 10 timeline. Wow. I never thought I would see the day when that would happen. But then I watched this movie, and it has a real date in it. Cool. This would also mean that the original Ben 10 takes place a year before it actually premiered. I don't know. I don't know. I do normally like to think that Ben 10 Omniverse takes place like the year it ended 2014, but with this timeline though, that would mean that Ben 10 Omniverse just takes place in 2010, which is also when Ben 10 Ultimate Alien premiered, so it's not bad. Not bad. But anyway. Uh yeah, this movie though, ignoring the timeline stuff, which I find interesting. This movie is just okay. Like the CG is slightly better than the last movie. The nanomech stuff is kind of lame, and yeah, there's some stuff that just kind of doesn't make sense. And yeah, this movie's just okay. It's mostly dull though, like a DC live action movie. It's mostly dull, and it definitely doesn't feel like it was made in 2009. It kind of does at the same time. You guys should know by now. I don't watch very many movies. So like the only movie around that time I could really compare this to is the original Iron Man, which it does kind of feel like Iron Man in a way, but obviously Iron Man's a way better movie. No. I just need to watch more movies, guys. I need to watch more movies. No. I guess I could also compare it, I guess, to Transformers. Eh. I don't know. I need to watch more movies. But anyway, that's my problem. Yeah, how do I feel about the characters and the actors? Ben's actor is kind of lame. Gwen's was way better. Kevin is kind of Kevin-ish, but I don't know. Ben's actor just kind of felt like, a rookie actor, not very well trained, but he does look like Ben. He does look like Ben Tennyson. He did do a good job of finding somebody that looked like Ben, but obviously finding somebody that looks like the character is not like as important as finding a good actor to be in your movie. I don't know. Yeah. Gwen was probably the best out of the main three characters in terms of the actress. Yeah, she was fine. And Max was. His actor in this movie was definitely better than in Ben 10 Race Against Time, but he still doesn't really capture the character very well. Honestly, I feel like if there's any actors from the cartoon that would work in the movies other than the voices of the aliens, I think that if they did get Paul Lighting to actually play him in the live action movie, it would be fine. It would kind of work. I think Paul Lighting could work as a live action Grandpa Max, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, so yeah, the actor for Max is not horrible in the movie. He's a good actor, but he does talk in an accent that doesn't sound at all like Max, and yeah, I don't know. He doesn't really capture the character very well, but he's an improvement in terms of the actor. Yeah, he is better, and he also doesn't dress anything like Max does. Like, yeah, he's wearing a kind of sort of flower shirt, like, Max always wears, but it doesn't really look anything like the one that Max actually does wear in the TV show. But yet they, of course, get the clothing down perfectly for Ben because he's the main character, so we have to make him look exactly like the cartoon. Anyway, by the way, like, Ben in this movie actually does wear his jacket zipped up, which he would never do in the cartoon. Ben never, ever zips his jacket. What was going on there? He never zips it. Ever. Anyway, But yeah, the jacket looked fine. It didn't. It's fine. This, but at the same time, though, this movie just looks dull. It doesn't really. It's not colorful at all. One problem that Benton Alien Force, the TV show, has is that it's very dark and hard to see things sometimes because the color palette at nighttime is too dark to see anything. That's one problem that the cartoon has. And this movie pretty much has the same problem. Just everything's so dark. It's hard to see everything. It's just hard to see all the stuff without turning up the brightness on whatever you're watching the movie on. I didn't even bother doing that, honestly, but I probably should have. Anyway. Yeah. Also, whenever Ben turned into a Humongosaur, he was just roaring all the time like a monster instead of talking. It's not really a big problem, but it is just kind of silly when you think about it. Like, okay, he's just been turned into a monster. Okay, it just doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. Like, when you really think about it, Ben probably shouldn't even be able to talk as Humongosaur in the cartoon when you apply, like, logic like this movie, but, no. Like, Ben totally should have at least said Humongosaur. Otherwise, it wouldn't be Benton Alien Force if he doesn't say the name of the alien whenever he turns into it. That's Benton Alien Force for ya. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the stuff that this movie introduced that the TV show later uses. So first off, Ben does get a new alien at the end of this movie, Nanomech, which he does use in Benton Ultimate Alien, which he should have used in Alien Force Season 3 in order for the continuity to work, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Nanomech, I don't really like Nanomech that much. I don't hate him, but if you seem like my list, top 5 weirdest Benton aliens, I just put Nanomech at number 1 because he's weird. And yeah, the ending of the movie is kind of weird. Whenever Ben turns into Nanomech, it's just kind of weird. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, one thing I have to say real quick that's kind of cool is that the movie does start out with Kevin and Gwen wearing outfits based on like their looks from season 1 and 2 of Alien Force, but then later in the movie they change outfits and now they look like season 3 of Alien Force, except Kevin doesn't have mutant skin in this movie. It's just normal. So yeah, this movie definitely takes place in between the 2 seasons, and yeah. Like, this movie can't take place during season 3 because Kevin is normal in the movie, but it also can't take place like during season 2 because Grandpa Max is in the movie, and he's in the Null Void during season 2 of Alien Force, so it has to take place in between the 2. And yeah. And here's another, like, kind of continuity problem with the movie. So, Ben gets a car in this movie that he later uses in Benton Ultimate Alien, but, like, during Alien Force, it was said during the episode Paradox that Ben doesn't have a driver's license. And, yeah, he's 15. He shouldn't have a driver's license. He should, even if he does have a learner's permit, like, I don't know. I don't even have a driver's license. I'm 18 and I can't even drive. This is weird. Anyway, so yeah, Ben does get a car in this movie. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called like the 10X or something. I don't know. It's a lame name. And yeah, so it's mysteriously absent during all of Ben 10 Alien Force Season 3, just like Nanomech was. And yeah, we don't get to see it until Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Yeah. And this also can't take place in between Alien Force and Ultimate Alien because Ben is wearing the Alien Force Omnitrix, and he's wearing the Ultimate Matrix in between Alien Force and Ultimate Alien. I am such a nerd, guys. Anyway, so yeah, this review is already longer than my review of Ben 10 Race Against Time, so I guess that means this is a better movie. Anyway, so I haven't really talked about the story at all yet. Let's finally talk about the story. Alright, so, yeah, basically there was these alien chips that Victor Validus found like 3 years ago. He was trying to warn the plumbers about them, like they weren't concerned at all. And Validus like kind of stole the chips, I guess. So he was kicked out of the plumbers, and he was also apparently trained by Max. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird when you really think about it. Like, okay, apparently Max became a plumber again, even though he was retired and had like started training some newer plumbers in between Alien Force and the original series. I don't know. It does kind of work when you include like the Omniverse flashbacks, because the plumbers were restarted on Earth in Omniverse flashbacks. So it does kind of work. You know what? Now that I think about it, it would have been really cool if Validus was actually working at like Mount Rushmore during the Omniverse flashbacks. That would have been really cool if he appeared like on the episode where Malware attacked the plumber's base in the Omniverse flashback at Mount Rushmore. Anyway, so that would have been really cool actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, so yeah, and yeah, I remembered at the end of this movie Validus died, but he didn't. So yeah, it really was just Ultimate Alien saying, "Oh, he's dead." That made me confused. Anyway, wasn't I going to get into all the stuff that this movie added to like the series? I should be doing that. All right, so it added Nanomech, it added Ben's car, it added the plumber's base, which we don't get to see this plumber's base again until Ben 10 Omniverse, so it's completely absent throughout both Alien Force Season 3 and Ultimate Alien. So yeah, where was this during those shows? We don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this movie added that stuff in, and there was a couple of sequel episodes to this movie in Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Like, there was an episode where Elena showed up again, and now she was a villain and was the queen of the hive of the nanochips. And yeah, I didn't even talked about the nanochips yet, and I'm out of breath, and I'm really tired. I need some sleep. Anyway, I don't know. I really need a co-host. But yeah, the guy who... I have gotten somebody who said that they want to do this podcast with me, but we agreed that I would record this one by myself because he just didn't want to watch this movie for the first episode he was in of the podcast. So I'll have a co-host for the next podcast. But it's too bad I don't have one now because I'm really tired, I'm all scatterbrained, and yeah, this is probably a terrible garbage podcast. Yeah. I cannot explain anything. Like, I keep talking about one thing and then I get sidetracked talking about a different thing. Anyway, basically the story is this hive wants to take over the world because they're evil. that want to enslave all of humanity because they have mind control powers. So yeah, this like race of nanochip aliens just wants to take over the human race and through mind control. Doesn't it kind of sound like some squids that attach to human heads in Benton Alien Force? So yeah, it's kind of funny when you really think about it, how like the enemy in this movie is a ripoff of the enemy in the Benton Alien Force TV show, the DNA aliens. It's kind of weird when you think about it that way. Anyway, so yeah, basically I think that's the story of the movie. I should watch it again. I should watch it again. I did watch it, and now I'm thinking, yeah, I should watch it again. I don't know. I I just need some sleep, guys. I just need to go to bed. I haven't slept for like 2 days. So, very, very tired. Very, not, uh, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I know I didn't really summarize the story of this movie very well at all, but I just can't. I'm sorry, guys. Next week, Generator X episode 4. Hopefully I'll have a guest for it. Hopefully we'll actually get time to record it. Alright, guys. Bye.